Playoff preview going live. There we go. That looks beautiful.
Perfect. Ooh, even better.
Just giving a minute here for people to start coming in.
Pile in. Yeah.
Let them pile all in. I want to see what it looks like on my side. Oh, yeah, that looks great. That looks great. Here we go. Merle McGuire's in here.
Nice.
Nice. Start getting some
What's up,
peeps.
Merle? Early birds.
Early bird gets the worm.
Merle gets asked first question.
There you go. Oh, man. All right. Okay. I just want to get a few more people in here before I start really going. Charlie Bubblegum, what's going on, my man?
Hey, Charlie, what's up?
All right. I'm going to actually copy this link and put it somewhere else here.
Oh, Higgy's here too? Cool. Cool. What's up, Higgy? You just let me know when. How many people are in right now?
It looks like we got 13 at least right now, so we could probably go ahead and get
We
started.
can go. We can start.
Let's get this shit started.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the BHB tonight. It's not tonight, it's during the day. We are doing our live playoff preview. We started this last season, so we decided to do it again this season. We had a lot of fun last time doing it. So with me, as always, as was last year, my man, the myth, the legend, Tom Schaefer, joining us, the owner of the Kirky Turkeys. What's going on, man?
What's up? Well, hey, how you guys doing, man? Let's do this.
All right, so we have a lot to go through. Higgy subscribing. Thanks, Higgy, for subscribing to the channel.
Thank you, Higgy.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get to the playoff part here in a minute. But right now, what we're gonna try to do is do the season 3 recap for everybody. As always, is Garth. Season 3 recap, and then we'll be talking about each team. Then we'll get into the playoffs and some predictions, and even some questions from you guys. So let's just jump right into it. So, Tom, your initial thoughts of how season 3 went in your mind?
Roller coaster, and at the same rate. I mean, for some teams, you know what I mean, and at the same rate, the teams that everybody in the beginning were kind of like, yeah, you know, they're not as good. They showed up. Everybody showed up at the end. It was a race to the finish, and as a preview for next season, it's looking like a great season next season.
Yeah, next season's going to be insane for sure. So I want to go through the final standings here real quick. So Cleveland winning the Colonial Division with a 27-13 record. Tremendous season by the Steamers. Your Kirky Turkeys finishing second at 23-17. The Atlanta Marauders were 17-23, and then the Irvington Desperados finished last as 16-24. For the Bartolian division, the New York Empire taking that division with a 25-15 record, and then the Unknown Darlas coming in with 21-19 to get to snag the second spot in the second to last day of the season. The Los Angeles Wild Things, who made it really competitive for the Darlas in that last week, is 18-22, and then the poor man meats are 13-27. So I want to talk about the teams that didn't make the playoffs first time. So let's start with your guys' division. Let's start with the Atlanta Marauders. This is a team I felt that just is turning the page
Yeah,
and going in a positive direction.
they're I the way I look at the division now, it's hard for me to look at the division for. I know we're talking about this season, but next season, the way that they've performed this season, it's hard for me to say that they won't be in the playoffs next season. Like, if you're gonna, every other team, I think, may be competing for the second spot. They're, I think they're, while it's going to be competitive, I think they're the odds-on favorite to make the playoffs for our division.
Yeah, for sure. With Sully helping run the show, along with some of the key players that they've gotten this season as well,
Yeah.
I think they're definitely going to make, like I said, make the turn in the right direction. The Irvington Desperados, which are officially will be no more, they will be announced as a different city, different name later on. They kind of took a little turn here this season as well. What do you think about them?
They had a rough turn,
Yeah,
because they were in it, and then they were still there for a little while, but the activity, the guys they have now, their draft was amazing,
yes,
right?
they
Because
had
now we're
solid.
seeing who's panning out and who's not, and for guys who don't know, Donnie and I can see the chats, right?
Mm-hmm.
As admins, so we can see which teams are active and which aren't. And the dedication and activity in the Desperados locker room shows every day. And they're also active in other rooms and the stats and things like that. These guys show up and they're gonna show out next season.
Yeah,
Their draft, I think I'd have to put their draft as the best draft in the BHB.
yep, I agree. I agree. I mean, guys like Ricky Kwan, he's been contributing for
Here,
the BHB Sports Network. Uric has been contributing for the website stuff as well. So, kudos to those guys and anybody else really on that Desperado roster because, I mean, like I said, they did take a rough turn. I mean, obviously, when you lose Donnie Dickshot as an owner, um, it's going to be a rough turn. But at the end of the day, I mean, they got the right guy in place. So Smooth, as I said before,
yeah.
he's definitely turned that franchise around, and they're going to be tough. That whole Colonial division is going to be tough next season.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So bringing in now the Bartolian division with the two teams that missed the playoffs, we'll start with the Los Angeles Wild Things, who, in my mind, I thought was gonna make it. To be honest, with the way the Darlos were playing towards the end of the
Yeah.
season. Talk about the Wild Things in your mind.
They are, to me, well, actually, while they look great, and I thought that they would very well make the playoffs. To me, they're the team that's either going to be like the number one or they're going to drop the farthest. They're the most unpredictable team for next season. Now, this season, the way they finished was super strong. They,
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't they weren't doing so hot, and then they picked it up to where if they were playing the season like this in general, they would have been in the playoffs, right?
yeah,
But so this team it doesn't really have that much to work on,
yeah,
for them and the team. Their rosters is very set. Um, they don't need like any big pieces. It doesn't seems like they're pretty ready to go for next season, and this end of this season has proven that they're, while an expansion team, they're just as much in it as anybody else.
yeah, exactly. And they have great pieces, like we talked about. Mike Twinscrew, who I think probably should be Rookie of the Year, or at least a serious contender for Rookie of the Year,
Yeah,
along with Yelich. Gunny McGuire, another guy that they brought in during the draft, I think will be really good. Ripple Skidmark is going to be, I think, taking place of Beefcake McDouble, who retires at the end of the year. Um, the weak nut Johnny Dickshot is in there as well. Of course, I got to give a shout out to that guy. So, um, like I said, they Molecular Chungus, that's another one too. They
thank
have good
you.
pieces to play, and some great names, but great pieces in place to really make a turn next season because the Bartolian division, I think, is going to be wide open, like really
Yeah,
wide open.
yeah,
And then the final team, is the man meets. What can you say about the man meets? Howie does a terrific job of that team. They're getting some good pieces in. Orinoco is a good piece. Mikey Moonbaum's another guy that's really going to be, I think, a great piece for them as well. West and East is going to be good too. Talk about what you think with these guys, with the man beats.
Honestly, they didn't do as well as I thought they would for this season. I thought they'd finish a little stronger than they did,
Yeah.
even though they finished well. I thought they would really take off towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I think pitching next season for them is going to be a strong point with how it's looking, and with everybody changing out pitchers for the most part. I think they're going to have an early in the season advantage, and I think they're going to pull ahead at least to start with. And if they keep their activity up, they can maybe keep that, and so they can at least get to the second spot in the playoffs, if not the first.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of teams, and it's not just the new teams that have been in, the older teams too, like you guys, the Steamers, and people. I mean, people are losing, all the dual players for next season, so there's going to be a lot of roster turnover, and a bunch of new faces. I mean, go look at the Darlas for God's sakes. I mean, we're going to have everybody that's brand new.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting season 4, and that's why we talk about how wide open this is going to be, because we don't know. There's not a guaranteed, oh yeah, that team's in the playoffs next season, or this team's in the playoffs next season, because you don't know. You don't know. And really with the man meets, like I said, I mean, Zeus Williams is another guy I should have brought up, that pitched very well towards the end of the season as well. And who knows, getting free agency, so they can make a pretty good splash. And in season 4.
Yeah.
So now we want to switch over to the season 3 recap for the teams that did make the playoffs. So we'll start with your own team. We'll start with Turkeys. What was your expectation? How did you think everything went for the Turkeys this season?
I expected to do better. With our pitching, right? It's fairly dominant, and our last 2 series, we wouldn't have made the playoffs playing like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little disappointed because I thought we'd hold on to the first position for the playoffs and have that home field advantage, and Shaka with our pitching, and Shaka, that'd be nice, especially against the Steamers who are going to be hitting,
Yeah.
So it loses a little bit of an advantage for us. Our team started off well, played well. Actually, it didn't start well. When we played the Marauders, who were no good at the beginning of the year, we split with them.
Yeah.
Our poison this year was the Marauders, because then when we played them next, it was, at the end, we won 1 game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So they beat us as far as game counts, and we're not used to that. At least as a team, we win fairly often, and it was a surprise. And so our team didn't do as well as I thought we would. Come next season, I think we're gonna have a huge advantage with pitching, because we're keeping our pitchers. While most people are losing them, we're keeping them. So I think in the beginning of the season, we're going to pull away. Now the question is later on in the season, but our progressions this year weren't as quick or as much as the others. A, because we have the veteran guys who it takes longer to progress, and B, because we actually just didn't get as many points for progression. Yeah. So some of our relief pitching, where I expected it to be this at the end of the season, has been a weak point for us, and it has lost us games. And I said this the last time on the playoffs show. Relief pitching will not win you games, but it will lose you games.
Yep.
And relief pitching is important because of that, because you can win the game in the first 6 innings or 7 innings, but then when that relief pitcher comes on and gets shelled, well, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what the first pitcher did, So relief pitching is important. Now I've got hope for next season because our guys are progressing now, and our draft picks are very good for this. So that's my recap for our team. Is our hitting wasn't as good as I thought it would be either. Our offense struggled a lot, and if you look at our player builds, they don't really deserve to be there. Like
Yeah.
our hitting was a lot better than it was. Our hitting was very subpar. We have some good hitters, but it's only a few of them, and they pretty much
I think I lost you.
somebody.
You good? There. Okay. It kind of cut
I don't
off
know.
on
Can you see
me.
me? Okay, because everything froze up.
Yeah, I
All
think we're
right,
good
yeah.
now. But yeah, and
There's
I agree with you. I think that with how you guys played this season, it was a little surprising to see the offense kind of go stagnant in some series. But I mean, you guys, obviously with Atlanta and Irvington not playing so well, it kind of helped that out as well because they weren't really on your tail. I mean, Atlanta played you guys really well,
that's
but
true.
Irvington not really being much of a factor this season helped. But the back and forth battles between you and the Steamers, especially this last series, was just fantastic. And once again, like I said during the commentary, that oh, here we go. This is a preview of what's going to be a great playoff series between the
Yeah.
Steamers and the Turkeys. So going on the other side of that, talking about the Steamers, they obviously were the top team in the BHB. I mean, that offense is just too powerful. A lot of those guys are going to be, dying off here soon. Dong Mattingly being one of them, I think. His player will be gone, and there's some other players, and they're going to have some turnaround next season. But talk about your opponent, the Steamers.
I mean, year in or season in, season out, they're great.
Oh yeah,
Their pitching has been greatly improved. Not saying that they were bad, but now, I mean, they're to me the second best team for pitching. Right?
mm-hmm.
I think statistically they're the best, but to me they're the second best to us. And at the same rate, you have them as either the best or second best hitters, and it depends on who shows up, like what day it is compared to them in New York, right? But
Mm-hmm.
to pair that, you have either the top two pitching and hitting. That's a dominant team,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah,
So.
they're going to be pretty tough. I mean, because like you said, you never know who's going to show up and play. I mean, it could be Dong Manley one day going off. It could be Kevin Chumbawamba. It could be Thermos Monsoon or Azuka Suzuki. I mean, hell, Prince Yelich has just been phenomenal this season for them. And then on the pitching side as well, I mean, Steak Fries is always one of the better pitchers in the BHB. Chet Stedman, I mean, that 1-2 combo is just deadly. Getting Nuke Lelouch and Frank and Beans and Talani Clemente as a closer, I mean, they're just unstoppable. So it's going to be, like I said, a really tough series, and that's why we get to look forward to when you guys get to play each other in the playoffs because it's just such great playoff baseball. So
Well, the other thing about them is, man, when you can get them down, you can have them down by 6, but they are not out of it. They're gonna fight and claw back until the end, and it's like, I don't care. The starting pitcher could do whatever he does, and then whatever relief pitcher comes, however good, it's like they're gonna claw back. So they're not done until they're done. It doesn't matter if it's the last out. They're gonna walk off. I mean, we had that happen too many times with them, so it's rough. They're a good team.
You think that if you go into a 4-game series and you win the first game, and you're like, oh man, here we go, and then you get halfway to the second game and you're up 6 runs. All of a sudden, you lost by 12, and you wonder what the hell happened to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, you lose the next 2 games just because they all of a sudden just catch fire. So, like I said, it's going to be a hell of a series. It sucks to maybe not watch, because season 1 was great because you guys both, I believe, played each other in season 1 finals.
Yeah.
So it was great then because we didn't have divisions like we do now. But not watching you guys in the finals, as being that series being the final series is kind of a drag, but we still get to watch it, so I'm happy about that. So moving on to the other series, which will be the Empire taking on the Darlas. We'll focus on this series. Kind of sucks for me because I'm torn between it, obviously. Being a player in the Empire, but then also owning the Darlas. So talk about in your mind, and then I'll kind of jump in on the Empire. But go ahead and talk about the Empire and give a recap, obviously, of the season plus of what you think they can do.
Strong. The Empire is a strong team. They have
Yep.
strength, and they, in my mind, are just as likely to win it all as I think. The favors BHB betting right now. I suppose Joey would know this, but it's like 12-1 are the predictions. We're a 12-1 underdog for both the Darlas and for the Kirky Turkeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And probably rightfully so.
Yeah. So right now it's 72-8, the Steamers over the Turkeys. 76-5 in favor of the Empire.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The Empire have some great pitching,
Mm-hmm.
and they have great hitting.
Yeah.
And that should be enough to carry them. With the Darlas in a rebuild while still making the playoffs, I think the Empire they've had an easy road, comparatively speaking, to get in. I mean, they're the first team to punch their ticket, and nobody else was really close to them in the division for coming to that first place spot. They didn't have to. I don't think they had to compete as much. Yeah, but and they're in a division that was building this season anyway, right? That was the young division, but they are going to be competitive, very, very competitive, and they're a good team. And this season, the whole season, they have made a statement saying we're one of the top teams. If we're not in the top three, like I don't think they were out of the top three the entire time. They've made their statement and they've made their case to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, and really, like you said, I mean, they've made that statement all season that they're going after the title. I mean, obviously pulling a move that they did in the middle of the season to grab myself, Donnie Dick shot on the roster, kind of solidified that a little bit. It was a buy-in. You bought all in.
Win now. Yep, it was a win now move.
Yep. It was a win now move, exactly. So, having guys like, I mean, the shock for all of us, in the season 3 off season, coming into season 3 was the fact that they went and got Biscuit Basher, so having a guy like that, having Joey Phillips and everybody come over there as well, plus the pitching on top of it with Danielson, Simpson, Wilkes, and Reed. I mean, they've got a great team overall, and they're a serious threat to whoever comes out of the Colonial Division because it's either been the Turkeys or it's been the Steamers, winning the title. So there could be this season where we may have a different team in there. And really, like I said, it's going to be another great series I'm looking forward to, even though the Darlas are kind of an underdog, obviously. But like I said, with this team that they have right now for the Empire, they're too good also. I mean, the basket can go in at any time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to see that. Now switching over to the Darlas, everybody knows about what happened in this offseason. The team that has no name, pretty much everybody left. The team, that's what I'm going to call them for now.
Yeah.
The team that has no name, everybody left after the league decided to take action against an owner. And so then that was when I was appointed the owner, and pretty much everybody wanted to trade her out, which is fine. Yeah. But I think with us, we fought all season. We fought tooth and nail to get to that final spot, and played some great series, especially with people that weren't around anymore. Kind of a patch roster.
Yep.
Yeah, and then in the past few weeks, I've went out and did some heavy recruiting, bringing in guys. Like Long Johnson, going to play third base next season for us. Dave, the Diva Access, who's been doing, commentary for us, who's actually done a pretty good job. He's going to be on the roster. Kurt Manafort will be on the roster. I mean, AJ Stryker is going to be a pitcher that's going to be really great for us next season. Fat Hammer, got to give a shout out to Fat Hammer as well. I mean, a lot of guys that I've brought in. And it's going to be a very active group. So I'm really looking forward to season 4. But right now for season 3, I think we have a fighting chance. But looking at it from this point of view, I mean, the Empire's a really tough team. But what do you think about the Darla's chances?
I think kill Bart Danielson. Kill him on the mound. Hit him right in the face. And I think you could win. I think you got to play some. You got to play some interesting offense.
Yeah.
The Darlas can win. There's not a team in the playoffs, or for that matter, in the BHB, that can't win on any given day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Darlas can win this series. They just have to honestly get a little lucky, I think. By if they can hit the pitcher, if they can get the pitchers, or they can get a pitcher tense, like if they come up and the leadoff guy or hits a home run or something, then it's all bets are out the window, right? They can win the game if they put themselves in the position to win the game early. They can win the game, and that's going to be the key for the Darlas, I think. It is a patchwork crew right now. This isn't the same team that started the season, and they had to pick up where the other one left off, and when it kind of went off a cliff, they had to pick it up from there. And they've done fantastic. Surprised me with how well they've done, even though I guess the record doesn't really show it that's great, but they competed. And some games they might lose by a lot, but they weren't losing by a lot to start with. I mean, so the records doesn't necessarily show how good they are, how good they could be. If they come out swinging in innings 1 or 2, you have just as much of a chance as the Empire to win. It's the Empire's job to shut you down. That's what they have to do for the Darlas. And if they do, they'll win. But they have to do that because you guys have shown that you're not out of it at the end either. You guys have a full 9 innings in you, so they can win. They're not they're the underdog, right? That's for sure. But they're not a 12-1 underdog.
Yeah.
They're not.
And really, I think, like I said, now I'm not sure if this has been announced yet. The vote that came down this morning. I mean, I don't think Dong's going to care if I announce it or not. It's going to be either way. So kind of like how Major League Baseball does. I don't like to bring up actual Major League Baseball or anything, but usually in September they do what's called September call-ups. So you expand your roster from 40 man to 60 man, I believe it is. The BHB is going to do the same thing. So we're actually going to expand the benches for the playoffs. So for my people, at least for the Darlas, a lot of these people, like I mentioned, AJ, Dave, and all these guys, you guys are getting called up. You guys are going to be playing in the playoffs. So it's really going to be a huge factor for all 4 teams because they have a lot of players that can make contributions now. And it's going to make each playoff series very interesting now that you have that expanded bench. So we're excited to announce that those benches will be ready to go for tonight's games, which I believe start at 7:00, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, 7:00 Eastern time. So wanted to go ahead and make that announcement. So 26 to 40, whatever the number is, we're going to have expanded bench. So Frosty just answered your question on that one. So moving on to like the prediction part, obviously, we're going to talk about, and these are 7-game series, by the way, just so people know or not know. So first off, we're going to give our prediction for the Empire and the Darlas. I'll take your prediction first before I give mine. So go ahead.
I'm going to go with Empire. I don't think it's going to be what everybody else seems to think it's going to be. I think it's going to be A fairly back and forth affair, but I think Empire will pull it out. They're just such a good team, and their offense is just nonstop fire. So I think
Yeah.
that's what we're going to see, and I think it's going to be hard for the Darlas to outlast them.
Okay. Okay. So are you saying like Empire and 5, Empire and 6? What are we calling here? That's tough.
Well, it
That's
is
tough.
tough. It is tough. I guess I'll say I'll say 5,
Okay.
but that number won't reflect how competitive the series will be.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's so I'll say 5, but it'll be competitive. I think there'll be one game where the Empire might run away with it, but other than that, it'll be competitive.
Okay. Yeah, and that was what I thought. Like I said, I'm torn with this because I really hate to go against the Darlas or anything like that because next year obviously the Darlas will be they're my team now, but will be the Las Vegas Jokers next season.
Yeah,
Um,
good looking team.
everybody's excited about that, especially Darla. She's really excited. She's got a burlesque show that's going to be starting up in Vegas soon. So, I agree with you. I think that with the Darlas, it will be a competitive series, especially now with the expanded bench.
Yeah,
Um, so, to me, I think it's going to be the Empire in 6. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked at all if somehow it went to 7 games.
that
I
would be
mean, I really would not be surprised because I think if the Darlas, watching all the games this season, if the Darlas can really get on a tear, they can do some damage. The pitching, you don't know, especially when it gets to the bullpen, like with J.W. Doyle, for example. I have him on the roster. He's about worthless as all get out, I think. But in the end,
maybe
uh,
he'll get a save with his face again.
maybe. That's the only advantage that I don't even know. But I brought JW in and I thought he was actually going to be something and he turned out to just be a dud. So, if he comes in the game, we may be screwed. But other than that, I could definitely see them for sure, going 6 games. Definitely. I can definitely see them possibly even going 7. So, but like I said, the Empire, I think, will win it in the end just because of how powerful that lineup is.
Yeah,
Um, so moving on to your guys's, since you're in that series, I'll give mine first. This is going to be a hell of a series. It's going to go 7 games just because it only would make sense. It would win 7 games. Um, I'm actually going to go in a direction. Even though I picked the Steamers, I'm actually going to go in a different direction with this. And I may change my vote when I get to the prediction part, actually. But when I was thinking about this morning, I was just thinking like, man, like the Turkeys can pull this shit out. Um, even and I like once you guys catch fire, I think with their bullpen sometimes, depending on who they bring in, Nuke is the only one that I actually really feel confident in, to be honest.
yeah,
Um, because just taking a look at there right now, Frank and Beans, I've seen him give up too much. Mario Cano, I've seen the same thing, give up too
yeah,
much. These guys are younger guys, so I understand. But at the end of the day, if you get Barry Steak Fries and then you get Nuke Lelouch, then okay, that's a pretty dominant pairing.
yeah,
And maybe one of the younger guys gets lucky and pitches, but if you don't bring in Nuke Lelouch, because we don't know how the games are going to go, we don't get to predict that. But if, like I said, if you guys get on top enough, and I've seen what that offense could do, if Salvatore Cash Money can all of a sudden just go 5 for 5 with 4 RBIs like he has
yeah.
in game before, I can see you guys just getting up top and not giving up. So I am going to take the Turkeys as 7.
Ooh,
I'm going to take the Turkeys as 7.
nice.
I know somewhere Dong is going to be kicking some chairs over, getting all pissy, but I don't know. I just think with the way that everybody's kind of going with the Steamers and like, oh, it's a lock. I don't think it's such a lock, and I can really see you guys, especially if you guys get up. Like if you win game 1 or game 2, I think it's a sure thing that you guys will win in 7.
And we have the short rotation too. So for the
Exactly.
playoff,
Exactly. With the short rotation, for people that don't know, we do. You have the option to do a 4-man rotation if you want, but normally everybody in the playoffs does a 3-man rotation. So
So
just
Hershey can show up twice.
exactly. So Hershey can come out twice. Exactly. And that's why I bring this up. I mean, yes, Barry Steak Fries can get up twice, but Barry Steak Fries has not been as good as he has been this season. I mean, season 2, he was lights out. He was unbelievable. Season 3 has been a different story for Barry.
Yeah. He's still a great pitcher. He's just not.
He's still a great pitcher, just not the Barry Steak Fries we know.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I think this is a 6-game series.
Okay.
Though it could go in 7, but I think it's a 6-game series. And I got to say the Steamers, because of their offense, but with, I mean, all the games are really close. Like even the game we want, the scores might not reflect it at the end because they have, at the 9th inning or after that, their 10th inning or something, they score a bunch, but it can be just as easily the same way for us. I think it's if like Chapman or King on our side do well. Some games they do nothing, and other games they'll go 4 for 4 or 3 for 4 or whatever, and they'll take a bunch of walks or what I mean. They're very the batter's discipline comparatively to where we were at before. We're getting on base a lot. We're just not finishing quite, So we're leaving a lot of guys on third base, a lot of guys. But third base, progressions are coming. Maybe third base turns into home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see. If our guys get hot at the right time, then we're going to do really well. Or if they're pitching, look, I just seen one of my batters get plunked. Plunk them. Let's go. And then the game's changed at that point. So we'll see. The pitching's going to be a pitcher's affair. With both teams, and I think the Steamers just have that edge on offense a little bit compared. While I think we have an edge on pitching, I think they have a little bit more of an edge on offense, and so I think it'll go in 6 to the Steamers. Though I really hope not.
Going against one team, man.
I know. I can't.
Yeah, I want to help you out.
I want to win. I want to win, and I'd like to go back because last year was disappointing for us. When we lost out. I mean, we finished the season with the best record ever. We finished so strong and so hot. Everything. Our offense was just on fire. Our pitching was on fire, and we just let it slip in the playoffs. Like it wasn't anywhere else where we were slipping, just in the playoffs. It was like it was a different team that showed up. It doesn't mean we weren't there and playing well, but it just didn't quite go,
Yeah.
And so, we win the Bartolo season 1, then season 2, I expected us to go to the series and probably win. We didn't even make it. And then this year, it's going to be more of a fight, which may be good because maybe with the more of a fight, we win.
Yeah, it really what it's going to come down to, really, or what it's going to happen is it's going to make great BHB baseball. I mean, that's always the win in the end there. It's going to be like Wildfire said in the chat. It's going to be a really interesting playoffs. So for sure,
back and forth, absolutely. And anybody can win, and that's for any of the teams. Anybody can win. And I think with the Steamers and Turkeys, it's more of a toss-up. If somebody gets right, if Ringer gets on fire, right? All right, that's all she wrote. The game's going to be over, and there's a win for us. But then again, if Hershey comes out and plays like he did in the All-Star game, well, I mean, geez, there's a loss, but in the first inning, you're like, well, shit.
I mean, there is a beautiful card up there that we can see.
That was the best part about the playoff or the All-Star game was this card.
Yeah,
but
you at least, and I want to do these.
Yeah, you did all right.
I did okay, not bad.
Not too bad. Yeah, this Steamers. I think the Steamers Turkey series will be the fun. Will be an amazing series to watch. I think it's going to be so back and forth, and so the turkeys aren't out of it till they're out of it, and the Steamers never out of it till they're out of it. Which means every game they're going to go the distance. Every game they're going to be competing so hard. And even if the final shows a 9-2 score or something, that's not what the game was.
Yeah.
Regardless of team who wins, that's not what the game is, and they're going to be something. The games are going to be special.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the over under 2 games that for the Steamers and the Turkeys go into extras? Taking the over, the under?
I'm taking over. I'm taking over.
It'll be season 1 playoffs for the Mad Pandas and the Steamers all over again. Where we have like 3 extra inning games.
Yeah. Or
maybe it was 4. I don't remember, but it was insane.
It was that was yeah.
That's still in my mind the best playoff series I've ever watched. But
new guys, you can go back and watch that too if you go to the YouTube.
Yes, go to our YouTube channel if you're new and you want to watch an interesting playoff series. Go to Steamers versus Mad Pandas, which was my team, the Irvington Mad Pandas season 1 playoffs. It was back and forth, like 4 extra games. It was unbelievable. Okay, so want to give a little plug here real quick for people that haven't seen yet. And what we're going to do is I'll give this little plug and maybe we'll get into some questions and some other shit. But we are, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but Man Meat Dictator, who, by the way, is just, I say it every time. Give him a shout out. That dude's been doing so much for the BHB. Like it's not even funny how much he does. He's a vital piece for this league. Not only is he the website man, he's the man, when it comes to that, but he's actually going and getting coasters made. Actually, he has them already. Coasters made with the BHB logo on it. So if you go into the announcements, it's right there. He's got a ton of them. And you can buy 2 coasters for $5, or you can buy 5 coasters for $10. Now I know he's also getting stickers made as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if he's going to do like a bundle thing where you do like you buy 2 coasters, you get 2 stickers. I don't know. He's going to be the one. He'll be laying out some details about that later on. But if you DM Man Meat about it, he does take PayPal and Venmo. So the only thing is no iTunes gift cards. If you've been in the league for all this time, you know the story about the iTunes gift cards. So none of those. He won't take that kind of payment.
If I can say something about that, not the iTunes gift cards, but the reason we're doing these things, or Man Meat is doing these things, is because the reason it raises money for the league is because it allows us to have more streamers, and so we can have a more steady base, and we can keep on growing. So that's the reason why we do this. It's not just like, why are you guys making coasters? Like, okay, I guess that's cool. There's actually really good reasons. So if you guys want to buy the coasters, it would help the league. And thank you everybody who's subbed on Twitch. It's a big deal, and it really is going to help the league grow. And it's just like juicing the league, and we really appreciate it.
And to get in on Merle's comment, he's saying we need some BHB hats. That's actually being discussed. We're wanting to see exactly what comes about with selling this stuff. We might be opening up some sort of a store, quote unquote, to where we can get that kind of stuff. So the more interest everybody shows in the league, obviously, like Tom said, it helps go for the streaming part of it. It helps with the website part of it as well. All the man hours and guys put in. They've like I said, they've just done a fantastic job. So, I know once I get done here, I'll probably be hitting him up and giving him some money for some coasters here soon. So, like I said, Man Meat, hit him up. He's the coaster king. So hit him up.
And they look good.
Yeah, they look really good. Like I said, if you go into the announcement section of the Discord, you'll see a picture of them. He actually took a live picture. They actually look pretty cool. It has our BHB logo that's spinning behind us right now. And the stickers are the exact same thing. They look fantastic. So hit him up to get that stuff. And like I said, more interest we get, the more stuff we could probably put out there to sell. So, um, so wanting to, no, go ahead. I thought you said that.
I didn't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Maybe that was just Dong in the background. Who knows? Um, so, like I said, we had the coaches, we talked some playoffs, we did some reviews. So, um, anybody have any sort of questions or anything in the chat for us? Um, Raccoon wants to know about man meat briefs.
Whole lot
I
of
mean,
hearts.
a lot of hearts on them. I mean, Dong's already interested. We know that. Um, so yeah, we can. Yeah, you know what? I thought I heard a kid. I'm not gonna lie, Dong, just to tell you.
I have
So,
a toddler in the background, by the way.
that may be where it was. Then maybe.
He was out by the door. Yeah, I'm at my niece's and nephew's house.
So, so wildfire. We were gonna bring this up at a different time, but he's asking the question, so we might as well. So, the minor leagues, um, the minor leagues will be different next season, obviously with 4 teams, and we're gonna have uh, new branding. So, if you've looked at that branding, Tom, what do you think in your mind is the? I'll just go with the best logo. What I know he was asking about uniform, but what logo wise do you think looks the best? I'm trying to find them all, to be honest. I know there's the Iowa cornholes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know what Wildfire wants me to say. he,
Yeah,
he,
I mean, does he want us just to give him shout outs too? I mean,
I like it. I like the fastball's uniform.
I do. Look at him right now.
I don't think they're the best logo, but I like their uniform. Iowa has the best logo to me, and maybe
Yeah.
I'm a little biased because Zach was our number 1 pick, and it's his team he's running next year, but I like him, and I don't know. That's all I could say, man. I like him.
I mean, it is Holdorf. I mean, it only makes sense that he would be a cornhole for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we Kirky turkeys. You know what I mean? We're here to have
True.
some fun, and I think it's the same kind of, it's in the same vein. So I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the other 2 teams, by the way, is the Boston Ice Bears, which is an interesting name, and then the Winnebago Foxes. Why Winnebago? I'll never know. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, his uniform is nice, but like I said, I'm not. I mean, the logo's okay. I would definitely pick the cornholes if I had to pick a logo. So
I like the Ice Bears uniforms.
I haven't seen them, but I probably just have to scroll up far enough to
They're
see them.
close to the fastballs, or rather, I think the fastballs are close to the Ice Bears. I think the Ice
Yeah.
Bears had the uniforms first.
Gotcha. I see the Winnebago Foxes. I do see that, which kind of looks like Kirky Turkey, like color wise.
Does it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it looks kind of similar. Like when you look at the logo, it's kind of a yellow and a kind of like a teal.
Hey, it's
I'm just saying.
I don't know what to tell you. He chose wisely.
All right. So, is there anybody else in the chat that has any other questions that's not about uniforms? It doesn't look like it. Looks like Wildfire might be the only person in there talking. So yeah. So if that's pretty much it, unless you got something else that you're wanting to talk about.
This isn't so much playoff preview, but next season, guys, is gonna be huge. Not only we having an upgraded minors and but the the league itself is expanding so much and just getting better and better and more. I don't want to say professional because we're not a professional league. You know what I mean? We'd still like to dick around. It's really all the stuff, all the pieces are coming together to make this really a finely tuned machine. We're formalizing some things. The owners are doing a lot of behind the scenes work this offseason to change things, not to change things, but to improve things and make things a little more clear. When it comes to, there'll be some the rules will be more solidified, and anybody will be able to go check them out and see how the league runs, and um, just how everything's going to be next season. And then when we talk about the teams and how some teams started out a little more rough this season because they had to be, like Marauders, right? But next season, there's nobody going to be behind really. The Darlers will have a little bit of a slower start maybe, but everybody's going to be competing at when the end week 10. It's going to be wide open. I don't think there'll be any team that'll be out of it. And I think everybody won't be. It won't be like, oh well, this team has to win and this team, has to lose so many. No, I think pretty much every team will be in control, and it's going to be a race to the finish line. And every game probably at the end is going to be really close. And this whole season, next season, is going to be really, really good. So stick around because it's going to be some exciting baseball. I think as far as the season goes, BHB will be like twice or three times even this season what it was, and it's going to be lights out.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I was going to say as well. Is a lot of us owners, first of all, are working behind the scenes. Let me say before we jump into this, what's the rules about creating a new player for minors? Would you have to retire the player you have now? Yes, correct. Yes. So you would have to retire that player if you want to be back. If you want to now.
So we already had somebody do that actually.
Yeah, we actually did have somebody do that. So
the Marauders had one do that, and he wanted to retire his player because he didn't like his player was performing or his player build, and he retired him and started a new guy in the minors. You can do that actually at any time you want to do that. You can do that, though it may severely hamper your team, but you can do that.
Yep. Exactly.
Also, if you wanted to switch positions in the off season, you can switch positions. If you're a batter to any position you want, you can switch. You just let your GM know, and if they can work it, they can work it. Or you can, of course, try free agency with a different position. It's whatever you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to what I was saying, but the first of all, like you said, the GMs and the owners are doing an extensive off season this year. Now, last season I think our off season was maybe like a week.
Yeah.
Before we started just rolling things through. So this year we're going to take a little bit of time and actually button things up, make improvements. Just really get our processes down, which is the key. And then, like we've been saying over and over, all of us owners together have been, is we're like, man, we can't wait till next season, really, because next season is just it's going to be out of control. It's going to be phenomenal baseball. All these teams are going to be competitive, every single one of them. There's not going to be a team that's just going to get blown out of the water. Man meets are going to have a shot at the playoffs. The Marauders are going to have a shot at the playoffs. All these teams, the Vegas Jokers will have a shot at the playoffs, even though we're in it now. So just exciting times are coming for the BHB. We've been doing a lot of recruiting, especially myself. I've been doing a lot of recruiting for the Jokers. Brought in a lot of great people. We'll continue to recruit, to bring great people into this league. And all the people we haven't talked about. I mean, another shout like Joey Phillips, for example, for New York. Shout out to him for what he does. You, Tom, myself, Sully has been unbelievable running the Twitter for the official Twitter for the league.
Beefcake for minors.
Beefcake in the minors. I was just going to say that. Running the entire minor league system, Beefcake McDouble is. So, special shout out to him.
Smooth doing all the graphics.
With all the graphics. I mean, just, one of the rules in the BHB is that when you own a team, you have to make some sort of contribution to the league, which is why one of us that was an owner is no longer an owner. But everybody that has done that has jumped up with no problem and done everything they can to make this league what it is. And that's why it is what it is. With the amazing website that Man-Made has let off.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to start having a little mini store for stuff. We can make things more available as time goes down. So, if you know people that are interested in the BHB or just baseball sim in general, tell them about what we're doing here. I mean, we have 8 teams right now. We have a ton of opportunity to even expand. Um, we'll be doing some major recruiting in the off season. We get a lot of people through Reddit as well. So, we'll be hitting up on that. Anybody that wants to do digital content, please get with me, obviously, with the BHB tonight. Ricky Kwan has been doing some power rankings. Smooth with the BHB mag, which I'm looking forward to when he releases the next one. We have a lot of guys that really contribute to what this league is. It is fantastic.
Go ahead. Anybody who wants to be, if you want to be a streamer or you want to be a commentator, go for it. Hit Dong or me up or Donnie, hit one of us up, and we will work with you to make that happen. If you're going to be a commentator, there'll be like a little trial to see how it goes and to help you a little bit and get maybe a little coaching, and we'll do that. And the thing is next season, we're not expanding. We're not expanding this offseason, right? But the season after, it's looking near 100% we're going to be expanding. You want to have a team help out with the league. That it is a rule that all the GMs step up and help out where they can and when they can for the league, not just your team. And it's a very league oriented way, and it's paying dividends and it's working wonders, and everybody works together. You guys don't get to see it, but behind the scenes, we're all working together all the time. And it's not necessarily a lot of work all the time, but it's really fun. And it's a really great community, and there's some camaraderie, and you can do that if you step up for the league.
It's, even like, with me and Dong earlier this morning, we were talking about the stream stuff, and all of a sudden we went to a half hour, 45 minutes of memes of Wayne's World, Tommy Boy, and Grandma's Boy.
Exactly.
So that's just what we do. But like you said, everybody that is in this league contributes to this league, and even players. Players that are not, we have players that are not owners that contribute to this league. So we're really, really excited with what the future brings. So with that, I will end this show. So Tom, once again, thank you for coming in here today. And Tommy does want wingy. You're right, Dong. I knew you were going to put something about Tommy Boy. So do want to thank everybody for coming on here today. The playoffs start tonight, so be sure to be in the chat. Be sure to be active. Get our numbers up. We're looking forward to having some great commentary. I believe we have some commentary tonight. I think I saw Big Man kind of going down.
Yep, I believe so.
We'll probably see Dave Axis making his playoff broadcasting debut. Give a shout out to Dave as well. I mean, he jumped in this league like maybe 2 weeks ago, and he's already doing a phenomenal job. So check that out. Yeah. So, we're really excited. We're ready to go, and we'll see you guys later tonight. So if you got nothing else, man, we'll sign off.
No, that's good. Thanks everybody for stopping in, and I'll see you tonight. And go Kirky.
Go Empire/Darlas. I can't root for one or the other, So
go either or.
Go either or. All right, thank you guys.